Good day to all of you. Today we will begin with the 17th chapter of Biographia Literaria by Coleridge. Now, as I told you earlier when we were doing the 14th chapter, that Wordsworth and Coleridge were close friends. But it was in 1796 that they were frequently together, and out of their mutual discussions arose the various theories which Wordsworth embodied in his preface to the lyrical ballads and which he tried to put into practice in his poems. Coleridge claimed credit for these theories and said that they were half the child of his brain. But later on, his views underwent a change and he no longer agreed with Wordsworth's theories, and so he criticized them in chapter 17 and also 18 of the Biographia Literaria. But we'll focus on chapter 17. Coleridge's criticism is the last word on this subject, and it has not been improved upon till date. Now, before examining in detail Wordsworth's theory of poetic diction as enunciated in his preface to the second edition of the Lyrical Ballads, Coleridge enumerates the merits for which Wordsworth deserves high praise and wide admiration. So, before Coleridge could disagree, he begins by praising and admiring what merits Wordsworth's work deserved. So, first, number one, according to Coleridge, he deserves praise for having contended for a reformation of the poetic diction. So, for reforming and bringing a change in the poetic diction, and Coleridge congratulates and gives praise to Wordsworth for doing that. And secondly, he has stressed that figures and metaphors were the natural products of genuine and strong passion in the original poets. But these became artificial decorations in course of time when there was no genuine passion to support them. What he is trying to say over here is that according to Wordsworth, the passions depicted by the ancient poets were true and sincere, and the figures and metaphors employed by them were appropriate. But the images of the modern poets were artificial and had rendered their style false and unnatural. Thirdly, he has explained with great acuteness the way in which the pleasurable confusion of mind in the reader produced by new and unusual trains of words and images in the artificial poetic diction of the 18th century is mistaken for a similar pleasurable state induced by genuine poetry and the dictions. And there were several attacks on this artificial style and diction of poetry even before and after the publication of Wordsworth's preface, which provoked fresh attacks on the artificial diction of the 18th century. Lastly, he tried vigorously to establish truth and nature in poetry. His efforts have by no means been ineffectual, inasmuch as it has worked a change in the poetry not only of his admirers but also of those who are hostile to his theory. We'll continue next time.